So for most people, most district councils, we have editable groups. So there are extra groups added to your district council so that you don't have to let us know. But if you run out of groups and you create a brand new one, you still have to let us know so that we can add that group to your role so you can manage it. So you kind of see now, maybe hopefully, that groups have a little bit of a different role now, a little bit different focus. So we used to use the groups to add enrollments for a specific group of users. Now the groups are used more, maybe more like a roster, a listing of people in a certain group, and ways to communicate using the discussion as well as sharing documents. So we'll just do a quick run through of the groups. The groups can be found through your admin menu, the green people, the users in groups, you click on that. From here, you can either add a new one using the plus sign or click on the groups to open the groups. So you were able to, from that click, you're able to add a new one here, or you can add a new group here as well. So in most cases, there are multiple ways that you'll be able to perform any particular function. So one other thing, I'm not sure, we may have pointed this out in an earlier webinar, but we do have the opportunity to limit or expose more records per page. So for this one, well, right now, this is all the groups. So if I'm going to search solely for DC 46, zeros, you will see that it has 26 records and it only shows 25 per page. So if I want to be lazy, I can just set it to 50. And that way I don't have to change pages. I just scroll down and I see it. So as you see, these groups are assigned to you. You can't really add other people to the group. You won't be able to manage them. So they have to be within your district council. So if you want to take a look at one of the groups, I'm going to add a little qualifier so I can find it faster. So once you get to the group that you want to modify, there are options to look at the group properties, to use auto join rules, look at the enrollments, as well as add documents. Again, you can add a new group if you need to from there. So if you click on the group, it brings up the dashboard for that group. And there's quick links here for adding a group document. And there's also a quick link for creating an auto join rule. It tells you how many members are in this particular group. If you look at the group properties, so you're going to give it a name. If you want an avatar, you can create an avatar. We've done that for a few groups, but whatever, if you wanted something specific to, like, for instance, this is Local Union 557 Painters. If you have something specific to them, you can add your own avatar. And actually, it makes it a little bit easier when it's on your dashboard to identify it. Self-join here, we really, so from the old LMS, we took the groups and added them into this and learning paths here. So we didn't allow self-enroll. Doubt that we will still, but I wanted to show you that if that's the case, it will affect which catalogs that they see, and then it would allow the learner to either join a group or not. But that would be up to you. In most cases, everybody prefers to control their own catalog access and assign the users to their courses. When I first created this group, I did click to publicize. So when you click to publicize the group, it means that the membership in this group will display on the learner's dashboard under their My Community widget. The discussion, you can either turn it on or off. And if you want it to be moderated, then you would definitely want to click that box, and I'll show you in the next one of the tabs how you identify who that moderator is. That that means for the moderator that a person's comment, a member's comment, or a student's comment has to be reviewed and approved prior to being open for viewing on the discussion page. So maybe a good practice, you can choose to turn that off if you don't want discussion at all. You can have open discussion, but you still might want to take a look and see what people are saying. Short description, long description, pretty standard here. Group members, Ken ran through that really quick. We have 2 members in this group right now. You can click to add users, you can remove users, you can use that upload spreadsheet that he talked about. It has to be a tab delimited text file, kind of like when we do the uploads for completions. So that's it for the group members. Then the auto join rules is where you would really set who is going to be part of this group. So right now there are no rule sets. So we want to create a new rule set. And we are going to call it our group name. And then again, like what Kelly was just showing us, we want to add, district council. Equals, and we can add DC. You can add multiple rules. Actually, that's not the one I really wanted to do. I wanted to do a local union. Local union equals 557. So you saw that we only had 2 members in that group before. So now I'm saying anyone who is identified as a local union 557 member will get put into this local union 557 users group. So we can create the rule set. And again, now if you see the connection, when Kelly created the learning path and created the rule set and said, this group, enter the people in this group into this learning path, this is where you create that group. So she referred to the group name being the name of the learning path and then in the rule set. So this is where those group members will come from. So now if we go back to our properties and we look at group members, well, they're not there yet. We might have to wait a little bit. But those group members will populate automatically upon entering that local union 557. Okay, so this is where you manage the users in the group that will be linked to a learning path. Not every group is going to link to a learning path. You still can use that as a means for managing users for any other particular reason. So, you might have a group that's going through some sort of certification. You just want to track who they are and what their progress is. So the next widget are the enrollments. There are no enrollments in this course right now, but what that will do, it'll allow you to manage the learning in the learning path. The tab here will show the dates and the sessions of the course, and it's populated when it's linked with the learning path, in which those learning paths enrollments are assigned. So when you see this, it'll be that page that shows you the learning path, the session date, start date, end date, or whether there's no end date, and the parameters of that particular course. The next widget is the private catalog access. Right now, admins will have access to the district council specific learning path catalog. We typically don't have catalogs open to all the users because that just means they can enroll in any courses they want to. So for now, we have everyone in the able to manage their group for the learning path in the course catalog. So you'll be managing your users using the rule sets and using the groups to identify those people that will be in those learning paths. This also has a discussion tab. So for this group, for members in this group, you can set a discussion. That way you can have people collaborating, talking back and forth. This is where we talked about, on the profile page, we clicked a link to have a moderator. So we identify who the moderator is. You just enter, select the member who's going to be that moderator. Typically it's the instructor or coordinator. And then when that happens, and like say for instance, this moderator sends out a welcome message, and this student, who's called Training Demo 1, sent a question. And because it's moderated, they can review, the moderator reviews that question here through the group, and then we'll have to agree or approve by clicking the green arrow here. So once he clicks the green, he or she clicks the green arrow, then that question or comment will be visible to the rest of the users. And you can also delete it if it's inappropriate or you just don't want it. And it just gives you a message saying that it will now be displayed in the discussion board on the members who were in that group. Anybody have any questions so far?
Alex, I got a quick one. Let's see, the notifications, sorry, the discussion items that you just mentioned. So like we're managing discussion. Are we notified at all if somebody posts something in the discussion, given that there may be multiple groups and all that kind of stuff? Is there any sort of notification that we might get, a little pop-up on our widget or dashboard or anything like that?
There's usually a pop-up on your dashboard for notifications. The message, but the message will also be on your dashboard in your discussion feed widget. It doesn't send you an email directly, but it will be there. It will alert you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there'll be in your notification on the top. Yep, where she is right now. Yeah, if you're listed as a
notifications.
Yep.
It'll be highlighted, or it'll have something red. It's something red check mark or something. I can't remember what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those message feed moderators. Again, if you don't want the discussion, you just go back to the group properties.
Alice,
and you can change this at any time. Yes, Kelly?
There's a question, I think, before you move on. When you assign courses to groups, is there a way to get the results as a group, or is it individually? Okay, so the courses are through the learning path, so we won't actually be assigning courses in the groups. And you can definitely run a report to see who is in which learning path based on the group. I see 12 things in the chat. Is there more? Can you guys check those out and let me know if there's something else I need to address?
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with them and answer in the chat with questions.
Okay. If we haven't gotten to a question yet, we'll get there. Okay, and then so finally the last widget in the groups are the documents. And this is one of the features that we all really like a lot because it's within several areas and allows faster access, easier access to any documents that you have. I think Donna showed you the access to the documents before. You can create folders to keep yourself organized. So if you want to create a new folder, like this one, I just called it Painter's Manual. And then if you want to, you click back on it. And then if you want to add a new group document, then you would put that in. Let's see, we'll call it LU 557. There we go. And then we choose the file. And then here is where you select the folder. So if you have multiple folders created, then you just click which folder you want that document to reside in. And again, you can use search. And then click create group document. And now that document is available to that group member. It'll also be in the documents list on your dashboard. So a little bit different use of the groups. Might get a little, might need to think about it a little bit, but definitely managing your members in this group. And that group is what's assigned to the learning path. So your learning path won't have, you notice there weren't any people in the learning path. So the people come from the group. Okay, does anybody have any questions? That was a quick run through. So and then any group will be displayed when you click that one, the alert one, it will display in My Community on your homepage. So you'll be able to access everything from there. Okay, just check this. Are there any questions that we need to address? No.
Just one quick question.
Yeah.
This webinar will be available to review again, like the past ones, because I know that I'm going to find myself going back and looking through this. But
yes, we are recording this, and we'll post it when we finish.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
And Wayne, the steps are also available in the manual, so we'll send out all that information.
Okay.
After the
I see some changes from the previous system we were running, so it's just a matter of getting used to the changes, I think, with the groups and what enrollments are in there. Thank you, Donna.
Okay.
Alice, I was trying to find out whether we need to add a group every time we have a class.
You can, no, you don't have to create a group for every class. If you have a group for your class, you just add your members. So okay. If you have new members coming in or adding them to a new class group, then once you add them to the group and they're assigned to that learning path, they'll automatically get those enrollments. So you don't have to create a new group every time.
But then won't everybody in that learning path get the same emails when you send?
No, when they're added to the group, Ken, are they alerted when they get signed?
The email that we showed earlier would be on enrollment into the learning path. So yes, every time a person is added to a learning path, they would get an email. So you really don't need to create a group for, the January through June class. You don't need one for the 2021 class unless you want to sort them and find them that way. Automatically, they should just be enrolled based on the demographics in their username, like we saw, part of this group, part of, that they're an apprentice. They should automatically get that learning path no matter when they're added to that. So you should always know where they are. You can, and I'm getting ready to show you reports on learning paths where you can sort by, enroll dates and things along those lines. So I don't really think you guys are really going to need to create as many groups that you did in the past. So it may be a good exercise to kind of go through and figure out why you want to create the groups, if it was just because you did it in the past, or is there a specific reason on creating them in the future, and kind of discuss that with Donna and Alice and figure out if it's really even needed anymore. Some of that stuff probably isn't needed compared to the way it used to be done.
Okay, I've only ever added or only used 3 groups. But then as I enroll a student in level 1, when they're finished, I just add level 2. But with this new system, I'm just wondering if I send an email to the group, it's going to be sent to everybody in the group, not just the guys in that particular class.
Yeah, so it's your option either to send the email through the group or through the learning path. So the group may be everybody. Let's say you have a class, that's everybody. But the learning path may be by level, by semester, or by trade. So then you can customize your email. Or again, you don't need to create the email if that causes any confusion within the for your members.
Okay. Thank you.
So I just wanted to point out when I created that auto join rule for this group. So my auto join rule said, I'll show you real quick. Said anyone with 557 as a local union gets put into this group. The local union painters. So now you can see that we went from 2 to many. So it's an easier way for you to populate your groups. If you know for sure they're coming in, and your group can be way more specific than this. You know, if you want it to be a bridge painter, you can have a group that's for bridge painters only and attach them to align them with the learning path for the bridge painters.
Yeah, and with the rule set that Alice just did, from 2 members, she just created a rule or some settings for the system that tells her, can you automatically join members of local union 557? And from 2 members, she jumped to 940 in a minute. So that helps with the manual entry of the members of the group. Before, we had to manually search for the member ID, copy and paste, and then you have to enter all those 10 or 100 participants. So now if there is a defined requirement, or if it's something that can be set as a rule, the system can do it for you. So that's one of the things that can help with the admin time for group setup.
Okay, are there any other questions about groups right now?
Yeah, this is Sean, DC50. So essentially just, we could actually just have a group for each trade, since we have 4 trades here, and then in the learning paths would, I guess, kind of be detailed more on painter basic, painter level 2, painter level 3, and then that would be, that could be attached to the painter group.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of different ways to do it that are, some are more broad, some are more specific. Donna and I are going to show you kind of just a little concept of a best practice on using the groups and the learning paths. But yeah, I mean, that's wide open for you to use the way you want to use it, the best way for you to manage your members and your students. So, you know, maybe you just want to experiment with it.